Welcome back to the Doctor Who Project. Now today we're going to be going over the second Doctor, and if you're completely unfamiliar with the Doctor Who television series, then I invite you to go check out the rest of our Doctor Who videos in the playlist. We explain the concept of Doctor Who, the TARDIS, and who the first Doctor is. Now this Doctor was the star of the show from October 29th, 1966 until the 21st of June, 1969. He was there for about 21 stories and about 119 episodes. So let's go ahead and get started on him. Following the adventure that the first Doctor had on the 10th planet with the Cybermen, he was so weak that he needed to regenerate, and the newly regenerated body was that of the second Doctor. Now at first his companions felt that he was an imposter, but eventually he explained everything about the Doctor's regenerations, and the second Doctor began his adventures with Ben and Polly, his previous companions. They went on a couple adventures with cat people and shark people, but eventually a new companion joined the TARDIS crew, and his name was Jamie McCrimmon. Now this would be the official second Doctor companion as he stayed with him to the end of the television run. Eventually, Ben and Polly would leave the Doctor when he brought them back to the very day that they left Earth. And once the original companions left, Jamie and the Doctor got into a bit of an adventure involving the Daleks. The Daleks were trying to gain the human and the Dalek factors, and were using some human scientists to do this. Now the Dalek and the human factors are what makes a human human and what makes a Dalek Dalek. They were trying to get the human factor so that they could decide what makes humans deadly and then place it in themselves. Well, the scientists that the Daleks were using to isolate the human factor were killed in the battle with the Daleks, and at the end of it all, Jamie and the Doctor escaped with a new companion, Victoria, the daughter of one of the scientists, and the Doctor thought that the Daleks were defeated forever. Well, this is obviously wrong, and after a few more misadventures involving robot Yetis and body doubles of the Doctor, Jamie and Victoria found themselves fighting a robot version of her father that was supposed to enact its revenge against the Doctor. Well, the toll of fighting her own robot father was too much for Victoria, and she eventually left the crew to find peace with herself. More adventures ensued, and they picked up another companion by the name of Zoe when they were discovering a Cyberman plot on her space station. Well, eventually, the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe ended up in the land of fiction, where they had an adventure with the Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels. But the Doctor eventually discovered that this wasn't actually Gulliver at all. It was, in fact, the Time Lord Goth. Goth explained that a great tragedy had befallen the Time Lord civilization, and they needed the Doctor to save them, by aiding himself. So the second Doctor went into his own time stream and he aided his third incarnation. The second and third Doctor went on an epic journey into the antimatter universe where they fought and defeated Omega. He was then returned to his own time period where the memories of his time hop quickly faded, and he went back to his adventures with Jamie and Zoe. Their next adventures included a slave ship, some space pirates, and a snake-like alien creature. But eventually, the Doctor ran into another Time Lord, known as the War Chief, who was giving the space-time travel technology to some warlords so that they could conquer the galaxy. Well, the Doctor saw no other option but to reveal his location to the Time Lords of Gallifrey and tell them what he had discovered. So they quickly arrested him and placed him on trial for breaking the cardinal rule of the Time Lords, that of non-interference with the timeline. After the Doctor had proven that he did actually prevent the Cybermen and Daleks from conquering the galaxy, the Time Lord civilization decided that there was something to the Doctor's argument. They also noticed that the Doctor had an expressed interest in the planet Earth, and that Earth seemed to be a magnet for the alien invasions. So they decided to send the Doctor back to the 20th century in exile, and the secret of the TARDIS would be taken from his memory. Lastly, they would force a regeneration on him. Jamie and Zoe were also sent off, and they had their memories wiped out. And with that, the second Doctor was warped away to live out his exile. Now this is where the TV show ended the life of the second Doctor, but in fact, his life continued on because as he was about to land on Earth, the Celestial Intervention Agency intercepted him and sent him on more adventures, working for the CIA. These adventures continue in the comic books, audio dramas, and appearances of the other Doctors' timelines and video games. But they eventually tied it up nicely by showing in a comic book that he eventually still gets caught by the Time Lords, brought back to Earth, has his mind wiped out, and his regeneration forced. So basically, everything that happened is canon, but no one knows that it happened. Now, the second Doctor is noted as being a whimsical and somewhat buffoonish Doctor. He was portrayed as more of an uncle instead of being the grandfather type figure that the first Doctor was portrayed as. He was also noted for playing the recorder, which he could turn into a spyglass or a blowgun or play hidden messages. and he was noted as being one of the more diplomatic of the Doctor's incarnations. This was proven when he teamed up with the third Doctor, and they needed one of the Doctors to go on a more diplomatic role. They chose the second Doctor. And that's a quick rundown of the second Doctor and some of his coolest adventures. But what do you guys think down below? Did you think the second Doctor was cool? Have you watched the original shows and he's one of your favorites? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'm Benny for Comicstorian. And if you learned something new, please give this video a like and share it with your friends. I'll see you guys next time right here.